So here I am, your friendly neighborhood permaculture designer, as opposed to maybe not opposed, but as to delineate me from, those jet setters that fly all over the world, the jet-setting permaculture designers. I'm your friendly neighborhood permaculture designer. I'm here to talk about another discovery I made here concerning this banana water that I've been using to fertilize my garden. And the idea originally came from me from a permaculture practitioner in Africa, of all places, right? Here I am in the USA. And she had a post up, or some information up in terms of, you put a banana peel in a quart jar, you seal it, you let it ferment, I think 3-4 days, and now you're going to get the potassium and the other nutrients from that banana peel into the water, and now you use that to water your garden or your flower plants, your potted plants indoors. Which was a good idea, but I don't really have a lot of plants indoors, so what I did was I threw a banana peel into a half bucket of water, and the water was only there because it really poured out one day, and all my empty buckets were half full of water, so I threw the banana peels in this bucket thing, and in 3-4 days I'm going to use it to water the garden beds. Well, the discovery was made then, at that time, that flea beetles would jump into that water and drown. And flea beetles is kind of a nemesis of my garden here. They eat the grape leaves and the potato leaves, and I don't know, they're probably eating almost every leaf. And so that was reducing the load of flea beetles in my design back here, in my backyard. I think that's an important discovery, something natural that takes care of flea beetles that you don't have to buy. Well, I guess I bought the bananas, but then I started to experiment with other fruit as well, and the flea beetles still jump into the water. And matter of fact, at the time when I did this original discovery, I had a couple buckets where I didn't have a banana peel in and there was nothing in it. Maybe mosquitoes were laying eggs in it, but there was no flea beetles in it, so it was the banana peel in the water that was probably throwing off a scent. Now, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know any of this as a matter of evidence or fact. Just I'm doing this on instinct and experimentation. I put a banana peel in the water and flea beetles jump in the water. It's pretty simple to figure that out, right? Well, I started to experiment with other different types of fruit as well, and I had a rotten peach from one of my trees because a wasp had ate it up, so I threw that peach into the water, and now I have a new discovery to show you. That peach attracted fruit flies. Fruit flies. There's no such thing as a fruit fly, is there? I don't know, maybe there is. And some of these moths. Look at that. They're kind of still alive yet. So it's just started happening. So that's pretty cool. And I don't see any mosquito larvae in this one, but it's sure the fruit flies like it. There was another discovery that I made. Well, there's a flea beetle right there. You can see it next to that fruit fly. There's a couple of them. Another discovery that I made is the mosquitoes would actually use this as a place to lay eggs. So the idea then became, well, how do I utilize these mosquito larvae? Well, you know what? They have little proteins and nutrients in them. So the trick was to utilize the water before the mosquito larvae hatched into mosquitoes. That's pretty easy to do. So now, flea beetles, mosquito larvae, I've gotten some hornets, I got a mouse, I've gotten very few, but a few Japanese beetles, moths, all of that is now becoming fertilizer for my garden beds. All natural, just happens right here, right on site. And then what I do is I've been adding compost tea to that water. And then I add, and I'll show you some of this compost tea. Look at this. Just look at how rich this stuff is. Oh, look at that. This is kind of a variation of compost tea as it's taught in the permaculture books, permaculture information. Maybe I'll tell you about it some other video. It works really well in that I can reutilize the material that is making the tea over and over again. This is already, I'm working on either my 7th or my 8th change of water on this one now, I'm not sure. But I started watering, getting these banana peel buckets. I've been adding a kettle full of compost tea, and then I bring it back and add rainwater and then add it to my beds, and then I found this with this peach in it. That's pretty cool. I like it. So I've been telling you this under the shade of my horizontal trellis. I've been growing elderberries, and I'm growing grapes. And there's kiwi in here. See the kiwi? So I've got, oh look, we got some grapes that are starting to ripen. We are starting the process. Ooh. Not quite totally sweet, but still pretty good. Oh, you are watching me eat the first grapes of the year. Even though they're not totally ripe, they're pretty darn good. Oh yeah. Oh, I can't wait. Another week and I'll be eating grapes. These I'm already fat enough. I'm gonna get fatter. So anyway, the idea here about my permaculture design, there's this thing in permaculture literature that talks about reusing everything and getting all the nutrients out of all your energy that comes in naturally, leaving very little escape. So they talk about that, and this is kind of in the same context. You know, the mosquitoes and the flea beetles and Japanese beetles and the moths and hornets, you know, they're all a resource that, you know, if we think a little bit about this, you know, in a permaculture way, how do we use a mosquito? I've just shown you how. I've even shown you how to use a fruit fly to benefit your land, benefit your crops. So, appreciate you watching. Till the next time. I do have a video of how I oxygenate my garden tea. So this is my compost tea, or the variation of it, and I'm going to show you how I oxygenate it. This is my rain tank for my garden. It's only 550 gallons, but it's been enough here in Wisconsin. As an aside, I do have a couple 1,500 gallon tanks that I'm going to set up. But watch this. I'm going to oxygenate this water. Oh, look at that. That's just beautiful.